Ahead of Workers' Day tomorrow, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, Cosatu, is calling on workers from all corners of the country to come out in their numbers to celebrate. Cosatu is organising marches in 8 provinces, and the National May Day rally will be held in the Bethlehem Showgrounds in the Free State. Well, International Workers' Day, of course, linked to the fight in the late 19th century when workers were demanding an 8-hour day and some time to rest. To discuss, we're joined by Cosatu's General Secretary, Phetoe. Mr. Phetoe, thank you for being with us. What sort of attendance are you expecting tomorrow?
Good evening and good evening to your viewers. We expect a maximum attendance in all our provinces. As you said, our National May Day would be held in the Bethlehem in the Free State province, where we are combining it with the Northern Cape. And in that May Day, we will be focusing mainly and commemorating the workers who were members of SAMU and workers who died in 2003 on their way to May Day in Free State. You will recall at that time, we did not have a province in the structures of Cosatu in the Northern Cape. Therefore, those workers were on their way there. Unfortunately, they end up, the bus drove directly to the dam, and about 52 workers passed on and 10 survived. So we're focusing our May Day in that province in dealing with those issues and say, what is the next step that we should be able to find a way to build a strong relationship among the workers, continue to build a strong relationship with the family members, but also the role that workers played at that time. So there are a number of issues that we've done. We've already had an activity in the Northern Cape over the last 2-3 days, going to the graveyard with the family, putting some flowers, but also giving some award to the survivors of that accident among the 10 of these. Unfortunately, that among the 10 survivors, almost about 5, there are no more. So we will continue to build a relationship and make sure that the families of those workers continue to be respected by Cosatu. As you said, this May Day, it's a May Day that we're celebrating almost about all over the country, about 137 celebration that has happened since that until today. We think that this May Day is mainly very important for the workers. This day is important for the workers to continue to advance the agenda that is advancing the working class agenda, in particular continue to improve the conditions of service. You spoke about 8 hours, 8 hours of working hours, 8 hours of resting and all those things. There are still some workers, in particular vulnerable workers, who are still facing challenges of exploitation. And we really, of exploitation and oppression in some sectors of the economy. We are also celebrating as we speak now, Mpumalanga, we will commemorate the lives of those workers who trapped underground at Lily Mine. You will recall that it's almost about 7 years now. The container stuck under the ground, and that container has not been retrieved. Our call for that march and commemorating the 3 family members is to call government, is called employers, in those who are implicated in these things, anyone who has been given the responsibility to take over the mine as an investor. First thing that is expected to do is to retrieve the container, allow the family members to pay their last respect to the remains bones, but also make sure that the mine is open. Workers who were dismissed or were retrenched at that time, who could not be able to continue the work, they continue to be reinstated unconditionally, and make sure that the community around that area continue to live their life. Because getting to that family, you really see that there is a serious dilapidated. People are not working. There's no food, there's serious poverty there, children are not able to go to school, but the area is surrounded by more than 6 to 7 miles. And this is what we are calling as Cosatu and say the attack to the collective bargaining must come to an end. And we will be putting a very clear program in working with the families, in working with the workers, working with the communities in that area to make sure that the container is retrieved.
Mr. Phetoe, thank you for that overview. Very serious issues there. At the main event in the Free State, President Cyril Ramaphosa will be there in his capacity as ANC president. Let's recall that he wasn't allowed to speak last year at the May Day rally. He was booed by striking workers from Sibanye-Stillwater at the time they were on a strike. Are you expecting any disruption tomorrow?
No, we don't expect any disruption. We're not expecting any booing. As we have engaged in the special CEC of Cosatu, there is no decision among Cosatu structures of Cosatu to boo Cyril Ramaphosa or to boo any ANC or any alliance leadership. So we do not expect that. But that does not suggest that issues of workers are buried. We continue to engage with the leadership of the ANC, the leadership of the alliance, and also as the leadership of alliance, we continue to engage government on challenges that are facing workers. Yeah. Therefore, we don't expect any booing from what we know up to now.
Well, finally, is there a little bit of tension? I mean, this is a very important event traditionally for the Tripartite Alliance, and we'll hear from leaders of Cosatu, the SACP and the ANC. But it does seem like right now the Tripartite Alliance is hanging by a thread. Cosatu, SACP assessing their involvement in this very Tripartite Alliance.
Assisting what?
Assessing your involvement, everybody looking towards the general elections. It doesn't seem like there is that former coherence. Will that play out at all tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow is not about election, it's about engaging on issues, it's about what program is that workers jointly with the alliance we are going to take, as I said, to advance the issues that are facing the challenges that are facing workers. You will recall and you know very well that this country is facing with the poverty triple challenges, which is poverty, inequalities, the unemployment rate, which is high, the gender-based violence, the criminality and corruption that is taking place. That's what our mandate is going to focus. The issue around election is a process that Cosatu is in the process of engaging with that matter. So in this case, that matter is not part of the discussion tomorrow, or is not part of the pronouncement by Cosatu. But Cosatu and the party and the alliance, we are as the alliance, we are in engagement in relation to the reconfigured alliance, and that's what our members would want to see happening going forward toward the national election and the provincial election.
All right, thank you very much for that preview, Cosatu's General Secretary Solly Phetoe.